And welcome to another episode of CAS Minute. Today we are in part 2 of close tactics in the sales process. In part 1, we talked about the assumptive close, and we also talked about the value-based close. Different methodologies for moving your prospective sales conversations towards a natural close. How do you get the prospect across the finish line? So if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to those. And today we're going to talk about 2 more close tactics that may be helpful for you as you walk through your sales process. 1, we're going to walk through the urgency close, and 2, we're going to walk through the alternative close. So, starting with the urgency close, it is kind of exactly what it sounds like. You want to create a sense of urgency. The key here is doing that without pressure. You do not want to be the used car salesman applying pressure to buy, to get this extended warranty. The idea is to create a sense of urgency without that pressure. How do you highlight time-sensitive opportunities to encourage faster decision-making? Is there something coming up, like a deadline, that you can say, hey, if we get you into the process now, we'll be able to take care of this no problem. Maybe it's a tax filing, maybe it's 1099s, maybe it's budgeting. There's a variety of elements that we can pick out of the annual calendar to say, this is the value that we can provide if you decide right now. I think this is really good because in our nature of work, there's a lot of complexity, a lot of calendar rhythms that we can hone in on to ensure that our clients are capable of making a decision quickly. One thing that I think works really well with this is scarcity demand. This is something that a lot of firms deal with today in that their services are in high demand. And so they can't onboard clients all the time. So there are often limitations on when firms can onboard new clients. And so that scarcity demand makes it a little bit easier to tell clients, if you sign in the next week, we can get you in at this date. If not, we're probably looking several months out. That's another element of working in another equation into the urgency close. Ultimately, we want to encourage clients to make decisions quickly by emphasizing the benefits of timely action. The last tactic is the alternative close. We want to present options to help lead the prospect to a decision. We want to offer them a choice between 2 favorable options, both of which lead towards a close. Maybe if you have a medallion structure pricing, bronze, silver, gold, you can help direct the client on how to get started most easily in order to reduce that decision friction that exists in their mind. So maybe it's something like, hey, maybe we just start you on the bronze plan, and then over time, if we feel comfortable, we can move on up to the silver, and that'll open up opportunity to get these other problems solved at that point in time. I think that's a really strong way to close out a sale in which you have different options. If you don't have a medallion-based structure, I think you can easily weave things in like, hey, we don't have to start on this element right away. We can focus our core efforts on the biggest problem you have while also taking care of the baseline things, and then helping educate the client on how you can structure it most favorably for them. And so you ultimately want the prospect to walk away with a couple of options, yet also leading them down a path that you think is most successful for them and also makes a lot of sense for your firm. So at the end of the day, we want to simplify the decision-making process in the alternative close. We're not necessarily going down our A path. We're providing options. Here's B and C as well that all lead to a really quality outcome for both you and the client. I believe sometimes people like having those options in order to get to a yes-no decision more quickly because it feels like it puts the power back in the prospect's hands in the sales process. And I think that's okay because ultimately you are the one that's dictating what those options are. So you're still in control, but you give the prospect the opportunity to feel like they're in control of what the next step is. I think the alternative close works hand in hand with the assumptive close. You can work both of those in tandem in terms of saying, here are your options that exist, and here's how we will plan on moving forward with them. If you choose A, here's what it looks like. If you choose B, here's what it looks like. So you can paint a really clear picture of what their next step is for you. I think all of those methodologies can be suitable depending on the circumstance with the prospect. You should get some degree of qualitative feedback, maybe some early discovery questions that give you an indicator as to which direction you should go as you move towards a close. I am constantly juggling different close methodologies, But more often than not, I'm looking at the assumptive close and the alternative close in order to move forward with prospects. The one thing I mentioned too on scarcity demand, this is your friend. Look up scarcity demand, see how that may influence your sales process and how you can message differently to a prospect. Ultimately, I hope these things help you close more deals. Using techniques, using methodologies, proven methodologies as you walk through the sales process will help you close more deals. I hope that's helpful. Till next time.